CaneSport TV, we're here with an excited Alex Mirabal who's talking offensive line, a little bit different than the conversation a year ago, and you've got 19 guys.
Yeah, so we've created more depth and competition in the room. We've got 8 new guys on the offensive line, from last year, the signees and also the transfer portal guys, a couple walk-ons. So we're excited to be able to create depth and also to be able to create competition, which is the most important thing.
It looks so different. I mean, you've got big bodies in there now. You got young kids that look like they're NFL ready from a physical standpoint. You got a shot here in training camp to build depth. This is a whole different look.
You know what? And I think, Gary, one of the things that people overlook too is the leadership. The leadership of a Matt Lee, the experience of a Javion Cohen, the leadership of a Jalen Rivers. I think if you ask me what the biggest difference is in our room, and I can see it why you would say their size, because they are, but is the leadership, and it all comes to me from number 55, from Matt Lee. He's an unbelievable communicator. He's a guy who's urgent and a guy who loves football. I think there's guys that are interested in football, guys that like football, and guys that love football, and he's one of those love football guys. He's the biggest difference in that room. Not the size, and the size is going to be nice, but he's the biggest difference in that room, in my opinion. He's the leader, and then you got Cohen, who's got 20 years of SEC experience, 20 games, not 20 years, 20 games of SEC experience. That's invaluable. But Matt Lee's a special guy.
So Matt Lee, you find him in the transfer portal out of Central Florida.
Yes.
Just kind of hanging out there, and everybody echoes what you're saying. Like, he has made an amazing impact in this program, not just with you guys, the coaches, but with the kids as well. How does that happen? Like, you're able to find it.
You know what? He's a guy he started 36 games over there. He really, Central Florida found him, right? Because he was a tight end in high school at Haggerty, and he was a tight end his first year at Central Florida, and then they moved him to center, and so he started 36 games. So when he jumped in the transfer portal, you watch his film, you're like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. He'd make us better. And what I didn't know, I knew what I saw in film, which was a heck of a football player. All the PFF numbers and stuff like that prove that. But what you don't know is the leadership, right? But I did know when he came on his official visit, and I asked him a couple questions. We were watching film, his film and our film. Boom, jumped out of his skin. Jumped out of his skin, and just his urgency, his attention to detail, his level of communication, how he communicated stuff with the guards and the tackles on the film that I was showing with him. And Coach Cristobal was in the back of the room, and that story is true. Coach Cristobal was in the back of the room. He got up, walked to the front, and says, "We need you here at the University of Miami." Boom. And the rest is, thankfully, is history for us. But he's the biggest difference in that room. And because of him, that size, those young guys are going to be able to flourish because of him.
And then you get Javion Cohen from Alabama, and when people up there, they talk about how he probably could have benefited at Alabama from having Matt Lee next to him up there. That as somebody to just keep him focused and keep him working hard. He's got so much ability. And he just stabilizes everything for you as well.
There's no doubt, and you watch. You go back and there's sometimes I'm watching cut-ups or studying people in the off season, and you watch Alabama film, you watch him, and you're like, he's pretty damn good now, And but Matt Lee would make anybody else better, in my opinion. But Javion's experience and having done it in such big games and environment is also a stabilizing force too. It stabilizes the young guys, and a guy who's been there and done that at the highest level against the highest level of competition is definitely going to benefit us. And he's a great kid. They're all good kids too, which is what makes it awesome. And the cool thing, Gary, is to see a kid like Francis Mawinoa, Cooper, Lee, Jalen Rivers, Okunola, Cohen, to see those guys all meld and come together. I think that's really cool. That's what I love about it. They're all from different places, different upbringings, but to be able to come together and form a solid unit and a group, that's awesome.
And it changes the whole perspective of the offensive line, because now you've got guys that have played on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, yeah, they've been there and they've done that, right?
Yeah.
They've been there and they've done that, and it helps the guys who haven't.
Right.
You know, it helps the guys who haven't, and that's a huge deal. You know, because they'll tell them, hey, listen, this is how it works. This is how it goes. Don't go out pregame, because a lot of these guys who've never played before on their first game, they'll go out there pregame and they'll get spent before the game. They'll tell them, listen, chill out, hang out here. This is how we're doing it. Boom. So it's a big deal. This is how we travel on a Friday. This is what you need to bring with you. You know, because somebody, you better bring your toothbrush. You better do this. You know, and so that's a big deal.
And then you bring in a couple elite freshmen, and having these guys that have been there and done it gives you a security blanket to put those guys on the field.
No doubt, no doubt, because of the communication and yeah, there's no doubt about it. Just the communication itself, right? The communication and getting them to, they're able to play. Those freshmen are able to play faster. When I say faster, I'm talking about like on the field. Go play fast, because you got a veteran next to you, and like Inez Cooper. I know he's a young veteran, but telling Francis, hey, this is what we're doing here by making this call, and Francis, okay, got it, roll, let's roll. You know, so it's a big deal.
And you were talking earlier about Tommy Kinsler, who's another young guy. So the competition, to sum it all up in training camp, is going to be unbelievable.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. And again, I know the media a lot of times gets stuck on, hey, what's a depth chart? What's a depth chart? That doesn't matter, because every day, at the end of the day, every one of us position coaches, I've got 19 guys in the room now. I go 1 through 19, and I'll rank them from top to bottom every day. Boom, boom. Right? Why? Because our job is to, if something happens to one of the first 5 guys on that list, our job is to make sure that number 6 is the next guy in. Not, well, number 6 hasn't taken any reps at left guard.
Right.
Well, guess what? He's going to now. Right? So that's kind of that's our job. You know, put the next best player in there, not the guy who's on that depth chart that everybody wants. Hey, what's a depth chart? Who cares? It's not going. That doesn't matter. You know.
All right, Coach. Well, it's going to be an exciting training camp. We're really looking forward to watching you develop these young kids and put this line together. And we wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.